Welcome. No, go ahead. You do it.
I was gonna because you last.
Do it.
Welcome one. That's my NPR intro.
Welcome one. Welcome all.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello.
I don't understand how podcasts can get away with that. They're like, well, now we're going to be talking about something very important.
And then they answer, yes, correct.
And then you listen to NPR
English.
News and they're like, Cherry Glazer. Welcome one. Welcome all.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I am still here replacing Joe because Joe had to be away on some Coachella shit.
Yay, Coachies.
Yeah, man. You know Coachise is an Audio Slave song.
Oh, shit. Never mind. Coachella then.
You know
No.
Coachise right there?
No.
Go on and save yourself.
Oh, that's
Take it out on me.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So sucks that the oh, did I hit the thing too much?
No, I don't think it hurt it, but I was trying to signal
okay.
you low key. But now that we brought it up, Keenan,
I know, because I'm going to be banging. I'm going to hit it because we're at a new location, everybody.
It's because you're thug, man. That's why you
My
got the
dick
thug
out.
clap. You're one of those people that talks with the thug hands on the thug claps.
Listen here. Let me tell you something. No, everybody, we are at one of the things that I was hoping so badly on this podcast is to be on location.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Wah, wah, wah. Yes. Yes, we are located. Oh,
It's pretty fresh, isn't it?
yes, we're in a fancy ass like fucking
Like this is
Bruce
my
Wayne bullshit.
Dude, this would be my house.
This would.
If I had a house, it would be designed like this.
I could see that.
Let's give people a layout. It's made of rich mahogany.
Yes, a light gray colored panel flooring with.
It's got those giant light bulbs for lights, like the collectors
like,
of them,
like the Edison type shit, like some old school shit. Yeah,
There's about 10 to every light post
yeah.
of those, and they're hanging from the ceilings. But it's not a covered ceiling. It's very industrial.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sure those are LED lights, but they look in the style of fluorescence or halogen bulbs. That's what they call them, halogen bulbs.
Because they're not emitting an incredible amount of heat.
No, but people like that halogen
Look.
old school, what is it called, Roaring 20s look.
Mhm.
So those are halogen bulbs, but they're LED lights. So
Okay, you seem to know a lot about architecture. Did you ever want to be an architect?
yes, that was the second thing I wanted to be since kindergarten. So I picked out my 3 categories of what I wanted to grow up to be by the time of second grade.
Shut up.
Yeah, I was already pre-planned. I had everything all mapped out. It was ridiculous. And
Even
now
my birth wasn't planned, Keenan. You're a lucky bastard.
Well, see, after that, I'm late to everything. Like my mom said, the only time I was ever on time was when she was giving birth to me.
Oh,
After that, I've been late to everything.
Hey, you know what? You are late today.
I am, but only by accident because I was hanging out with elites in the
I'm gonna
Woodland
invent
Hills.
Keenan time.
Keenan time.
Yeah,
So there's already CP time, which is my initials. But
right. I'm gonna invent that
Keenan time.
and tell you everything is about an hour earlier, just so that you show up.
I'm normally on time for everything.
You are.
This
I'm
is
giving
just
you shit.
Yeah, and it was traffic. There was 3 slowdowns in the freeway. LA, something's got to be. It's crazy because
Are you one of those dudes who gets like super dramatic? Like the minute you run into traffic, you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, people. I even learned a new trick, and I hate people who do this, but I do it now too. I wait till towards the end when the lane merges, and then I get over. But I don't do it at the very, very end. People do it at the very, very end. But I get, like I would say, a mile or 3/4 mile. When you see the sign, it says for
Someone
exit.
did that to me last night.
You can do that.
I was on my way back from Pasadena to Highland Park.
Yeah.
And we're easily going about 70. Like, you know, it's late night.
Oh, yeah.
And some Beamer pulls up in front of me going 90.
Fucking jerks.
Cuts me off from the exit point back onto the furthest lane right there to the right. I was like, but what was the point? Because the 2 lanes to the left of me were entirely empty.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying about last week about the technology input into human beings. I mean, would this dickhole be a dickhole in the 16th century, 17th century on his horse? You know, right?
Probably.
Like, or before that, we just walk. Like,
that's right. A couple episodes back, you said, "Are we assholes now because of our technology?"
Yeah. That's there's
definitely car gangsters, right? Like nobody would have road rage against some big ass buff. Someone could smack you across the room if like there was no car to protect you.
Well, I just don't understand the mental, because I mean when we had even cars introduced into our society, gangsters had, you know, not tinted windows, but they knew they needed the coverage of the whatever shit they're doing in cars, so they put curtains. They had curtains in it.
Right, back in the day.
Yeah, that's some human shit. That's some human thought process.
Even the development of glasses, like you bought some new shades and shit. I saw them; they're looking fresh. Like I think they were invented for courtrooms.
They were.
Yeah, there's if I remember correctly, the first sunglasses were in courtrooms, and they were so that they could get, like, people weren't ready for it, and they just said that that's how they were blind or whatever, but they were wearing sunglasses so that no one could look in their eyes and give them an actual verdict of like, you're guilty or some shit like that. I think it started in China too.
Interesting.
So like everything else, it dates back mostly to China, and before that, Africa.
Okay.
Baby. We all black.
All right.
Just not everyone from the waist down.
Hey.
Only some are blessed. And even then, I hear it's not really a blessing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so we obviously don't have any females on. It's just me and Philly. But I hear tons of stories from ladies who say having a big dick is not good. It actually hurts.
Yeah.
And my
there's always that one girl though.
Yeah, that's my question.
The one girl who's like, I need Titanic.
Yes, the dualities in my life that's why I have so confusion. I bring a lot of stuff in the podcast, because one side would say, yeah, big dicks is too much. It hurts. It's painful. The guy is pushing it in too hard.
BBC.
Hey. Right. And then the other one, the other side says, yes, I want the bigger the better and all that stuff. I'm like, God damn, it's like, I just don't know.
Well, I think it also there is something in between where girls like it rough and they don't really care about the actual size.
Yeah.
They just need you to have the moves, like to be able to drop it and, you know, choke them out. Like most people today like choking.
Yes.
During sex.
How the fuck did that develop? Is that like a Stockholm syndrome thing?
I don't know.
And it didn't. I don't think it even developed in porn first. I think people did it. Porn adapted it. It was like, oh, everybody likes it. Let's do it more in our stuff.
It might be tied to like, I look away when I think. Sorry.
It's a nice place. We got glass windows here. We can see people. People can come visit us.
We're in the Einstein booth. Out of Control Collective.
This is what Einstein used to think about.
Shout
pussy.
out to my buddy Gustavo for bringing me on to this.
Gustav's.
Yeah, he actually went to the show that we had recently at Collabo.
Oh, yo, that Collabo show was amazing. We got another one April 25th coming up.
Right.
With Collabo artists, not an official Collabo show, but Collabo artists. April 25th at the other door down the street from where we're at.
It is down the street, huh?
Yeah, literally, you can walk to it.
That's crazy.
But you're saying that Gustavo introduced you to this whole shindig?
Yeah, man. When I came in, he was the first person that I met, and then what happened was, sorry, I was burping.
That's cool.
And I was using something called Desk Pass. And Desk Pass gives you access to every co-working space.
Oh, cool.
Ever. I'm giving them free advertising.
I know you are. So let's go back to women. And you're talking about
right.
Why they like it so rough.
So I think it ties back to like, okay, I think we brought this up too. Have you seen the movie Crash?
Yeah, but like I said, it was a one and done, so I don't remember most of it.
Okay.
So I was like,
okay. Well, maybe now I see how you treat one and done women.
But at least they have a good time, right?
They can look at you and just know that's how you're going to treat them.
Which is funny because I actually don't. I like it, but I can't do it functionally well because.
So you're saying you want to be that guy,
but I bust too quickly because it feels so good. I can't continue after like. So yeah, I can do it rough.
Wait.
But it's so rough. It's just like it feels so good.
Right, because usually if you go at your pace, you can double the time.
Yeah, I can take it long and go slow.
But if you start going rough,
it's just like my dick wants it. Every guy's dick wants it like fast. For somebody had a statement about that. I don't know if it was my ex or some girl was saying, I think it was my ex saying, why do guys like hand jobs like really, really fast and vigorous?
Well, I think there's something to that. So first, before we get too far away from the point, I think the fact that technology has removed us so much from humanity just in general.
We're going way back to the first thing.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is my conjecture.
Oh, yeah.
I think that because there is such a removed experience today from human to human contact, that especially in romantic relationships, like it's almost like a feeling of closeness that they trust you so much that they let you do that. Or
for the choking part?
Yeah, I think so, man. Either that or it just really turns them on.
What about yourself? Because for me, I haven't been choked. I think I've been choked once, and it was okay.
Oh no, I've never been choked.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just saying. But thanks for maybe ousting me. Now you know how much shit I say about myself in this fucking podcast. People are gonna, when they see me, they're gonna see me like like some weird. That's why I have to start dressing nice and looking correct, because they're gonna think I'm some like weird with a ponytail and
I'm
shit.
I'm leaning in my chair right now, bro.
Anybody
with a ponytail?
Yeah, like those old 70s porn directors.
There was a dude who walked up to me.
Oh, really?
Just last night. I was parked in a handicap waiting for somebody.
Yeah.
Right. I was just like, I'm going to be here 2 seconds.
Okay.
Which is probably totally
still
illegal. So I was like, I'm here for 2 seconds. And so this badass, like super clean white Mercedes Benz pulls up behind me, and some old dude gets out the passenger seat, and he's got the long slick back hair.
But he's bald on the top.
Yeah, kind of balding. And he's got the long ponytail. It's super slick. He's oily.
Yeah.
He's like, hello, are you parking here?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm actually just about to leave. He's like, okay.
Cool. I'm porn director. We're making porn.
and he gives the signal, like a waving circle.
Like they're badass. Yeah.
And the dude drives around so that I could pull out while he gets in. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude.
It's for people.
Who said that style was okay? And I hope when I get older, I don't even try to wear that style.
Yeah. If you're balding at all, just go full shave. Just shave it off.
Think so?
Go
like
crazy.
Once it gets past, once you start getting the 5 head.
Yeah. Well, some people.
I've got kind of a 5 head, and I'm not balding.
Well, some people can kind of pull it off. Do you ever see? I think he's in Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. Fuck, I forgot this dude. He was in an episode. If anybody watches Community, he was in the episode where Pierce. I'm gonna spoiler alert. Where Pierce passes away, and he's his lawyer, and he comes in and gives everybody.
Spoiler alert.
I know. I had to say it, and who knows? It's been like 8 years. Pierce Hawthorne on Community, who was played by Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah, Chevy Chase. That's
a walking encyclopedia of that show.
I met him on the lot of Paramount Studios.
How was he?
Maybe twice.
I heard it's a 50-50. You'll get him. Sometimes he'll be good. Sometimes
I never had a bad experience, but also like I said something along the lines of, "Hey, Chevy Chase, you the man, right?" He just walks by with like a half smile, like looking down on the ground, like,
yeah.
Right, like
he probably liked the praise, but was just like, I
think he was trying to stay in character.
Probably.
That's the other thing is bad on my end, that I tried to interrupt whatever he was thinking about, as if he's not at work right now. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they want to be treated like human beings too. So I mean,
that's true. You know who was cool? Donald Glover.
Yeah.
He didn't worry about being in character. I was at the crafty table, getting coffee, and he shows up and he's like, "Hey, man." And he probably doesn't remember me at all. But
this was pre-Community or during
during the early stages of Community. In fact, you were just hearing the name Donald Glover for the first time.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And I was like, wow, it's Donald Glover. And I just knew him from the show. I didn't know, I just knew he was a cast member. I didn't know that he had done all these other YouTube videos.
Okay, the Derek Comedy.
Exactly.
That's how I found him out. I found him out 2 years prior to Community, or maybe a year. He knows best. So Donald Glover, if you're listening, you can...
Oh, are you homies with Donald Glover? Is that what it is?
No. But
what would you do if you were homies with Donald Glover?
Be the same thing as if I'm homies with the person I am with now. The two characters.
The fuck out of me.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 of them, but see, I don't want to go around being like, oh, I know this guy and I hang out with him, because I was just hanging out at their house right now.
First of all, Keenan.
So should I say it? Should I just say it on the podcast?
No.
Nobody listens to this.
Because you've never invited me, Keenan. Now we're going to turn this whole podcast about
shit, turn my mic off.
Oh, shit. Keenan, goddamn.
Because now because I'm in the spot, so I'm like, oh, fuck.
Okay,
turn my mic off. Wait, so, okay. So Philly was saying, fuck Keenan.
So you never invited me, Keenan.
Yeah. So the thing is that it's kind of like my brother, in the sense that they have a very particular way of handling things. Like, oh, if they never met you prior to something else, it's like they don't want a friend of a friend coming through.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, I'm gonna try and be, just knowing that mentality. I didn't ask them. They're really chill. They probably don't even give a fuck.
Does your brother listen to the podcast?
No, he doesn't. And I want to talk more shit, but he did say, when we spoke is like he felt uncomfortable if I ever said anything about the family. In the back of my head, especially Phil, if you're listening right now, I was thinking like, well, fuck you. You don't even listen to the podcast and you don't want me to say shit?
I don't think you've ever actually said anything about your family on here.
I have, but always in positive.
Yeah, well, of course.
Even my brother, I would tease him on the podcast, but
you love them no matter who they are and what they do.
Yeah, I'm proud to say and kiss my black ass.
You just wish it would be returned the other way around.
For the most part, he charged me interest when I borrowed money, like 15%. It was a weird number. It's like 15.9%. He was like a loan shark.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He gave you a specific number?
Yeah, and he followed those, and I can't give him too much shit for that because he followed that method from our dad. My dad charged me percentage when I borrowed money from him. So that's one of the reasons why I don't try and borrow money from anybody.
My God.
It's why it's a history. But
have they ever walked up to you though and just given you money for no reason?
Nope. My family is.
I'm lucky like that. Like Joe has thrown me money for no reason.
Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, well,
and I'm like, damn, love you, bro. He's like, hey, man, I got you. Just like that.
Joe's supposed to throw me some pussy. That's what he's supposed to do. And he's not here, so I'm gonna talk my shit. You know how many girls Joe used to know?
hey. First of all, he's a changed man.
He is, but he can like before he burned all those phone numbers, he could have gave them to me. Now it's out in the ether, and now nobody can contact him anymore.
Keenan, you don't want another man's treasure.
I don't want live.
You want the girls that you want.
I'll take sloppy 6, sloppy 8s.
Now I know that none of this shit seems connected. Whoever's listening, but trust me,
we'll bring it back.
Connected.
We'll bring it back.
Speaking of girls,
okay,
you were telling me that you went to a bar last night.
Oh yeah, so I texted up Philly, because I was like, okay, I need your advice. Here's a scenario that I always present, and everybody tells me how they're supposed to act and what they're supposed to do, but everything was going in the wrong direction. I found out why later. But I was at a place called The Other Door. We have a show on April 25th.
This guy. So you were at the bar where we're going to have a show.
We're going to have a show. And I'm feeling the man. I'm dressing nice like this, maybe a little bit nicer.
And you went there because it's a dope place to hang out at.
It's not only, it's a very dope place to hang out with. Obviously, the reason why we're doing a show there is because it's a super dope place to hang out. It's a New Orleans themed type bar. Oh. They have like voodoo shit everywhere.
Oh, is that what New Orleans means? Because I've never been to New Orleans.
It's an added thing. So
you've been in New Orleans?
No. But I have family from Louisiana and stuff like that. And
so they serve gumbo and shit.
No, they don't serve food there. That's the drawback. So that's one of the reasons why it's 21 and up strictly. But they do have vegan food truck Wednesdays. Trucks, plural. So there's multiple people serving vegan food, and it's really good.
That's dope.
Took DJ Marcus Aurelius, who's playing also on April 25th over there. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so the place was awesome. The vibe was great. It was like around 8 o'clock or so Saturday. And these two girls that I found out later from conversation are Persian. Not Persian. That's not the correct. That's old school. Armenian. Middle Eastern. Let me just generalize the whole thing because I forgot this.
Do you remember their
area.
Did you find out their last names?
No. I didn't even get their first.
Because if it's anything ending in IAN, like Gwen Stefani is actually Gwen Stefanian.
Yeah.
You know, so she's Armenian. But Farsi speaks more. They could have been musical. Their speech is more like a. I don't want to impersonate it in a terrible way and be offensive, that's fine. But there's a musicality to it.
Generally, Middle Eastern. I'm gonna just generalize the whole area just to make sure I cover.
Okay.
And I don't mess anything up, but super fucking.
Oh, there's the first challenge because most of them tend to be they tend to keep to their own culture for a reason. Could be it's it's economics more than anything.
Well, also black people have a really bad rap towards other nationalities because of how the white culture made us portray ourselves in movies, television, magazines, books, and all that stuff.
They'll listen to any black song, any black American made song. And like 100%.
But I won't date them.
That is kind of fucked up.
It's very fucked up. And it sucks because
they'll sit there and listen to Let Me Get a Taste. That Tiger song, right?
Yeah.
And they'll sit there and be like, yeah, Fleet Gang, woo. But then they'll be like, my daughter's gonna date a black man.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
It's
that's ridiculous.
And you would think, and the crazy thing, people just think it's just white people in America. No, it's Asians.
It's even Latinos.
And Latinos. I've seen more racist shit from Asians than I have from white people. It's mad crazy. It's mad crazy. And not
yet another culture that keeps to itself.
Yeah, and it sucks. It really does suck.
I mean, Latinos are the same way, man.
Yeah, and you would think that with people who have skin just as brown or dark as us, we would be a little bit more connected, especially since Africa was in South America long before the Europeans were doing that shit. You would think we have more of a connection.
Dude,
but
Puerto Ricans, that's like Latino and Black, Dominicans. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. Like what we were portrayed as by the white culture. The
image has been ingrained.
Yes, hardcore. Which is why they took off. What's his name? Who? Oh God! It was the Last Jedi. And what's his name?
That's right. Flynn or what's his name?
Yeah, the guy who plays Finn. His face or his image was taken off the poster when the movie was being promoted in China.
No,
because the Chinese are like they wouldn't even go to the movies if they saw a main black character. That's the same thing that was
happening to Bruce Lee when he came to America to promote his movies.
Yeah.
In fact, did you know that the overdubs, the English overdubs of the Bruce Lee movies would change the whole storyline and make it so that the girls, the love interest, was always like a cousin or a sister. And that's why it would seem awkward when in the actual movies, if you listen to it in Chinese and if you understand it, that's actually Bruce Lee's love interest and is not related to him in any fucking way.
Yeah, it's wild.
Isn't that fucked up?
It's so fucked up.
They just didn't want to see somebody shine who wasn't white.
Yeah. It's bad.
And I'm not saying all white people were like that.
No. I mean,
it just so happens that historically, predominantly, most
I would say 60 to 70%
who were shitting on people for no reason were the whites in America. However, in America at the same time, there were Aztec kings who were chopping people's heads off and having them fall from the top of a pyramid.
Well, even crazier stuff. I just heard a segment out of the book of I think it's Flags of Our Fathers or something like that, where they made a movie out of it.
Oh yeah.
That they took out of the movie, but it turns out a lot of these POWs that were captured
by Native Americans.
It was either the Philippines or
right, because I don't remember the movie exactly.
Yeah, and neither do I, and I didn't read the book. I'm butchering this paraphrasing, but to get to the short was that these Asian soldiers were, I guess, stuck on this island or whatever, but they had American POWs, and they ate the POWs, but they had to eat them alive because they had to keep the meat or the bone fresh. So they were carving off the backs of these humans while they were still alive, and was eating the meat. And I was like, it's some
carnivore shit.
Some wild stuff. And that was, and a lot of people say it's
cannibal shit.
Yeah.
Cannibalism.
Some people say, because of the war and all that stuff, people had to do certain things to survive. But
just during Vietnam and shit like that?
Yeah. It wasn't like they had a debate, Right. It was like they just did it. When I hear stories like that, and I hear stories about a lot of the stuff to the Holocaust, that just reaffirms my statement about human nature is defined as fucked up.
Yeah.
Humans are fucked up. We are the most craziest fucked up biological entities on this planet. And it's insane to think otherwise.
I feel bad for killing cockroaches, but they freak me out, dude.
And you just do it like, boom, kill, you're dead. Like no thought.
Like,
no
I want to be like, everything is connected. Everything the light touches is your kingdom.
You don't have to be that way. I mean, even I try to like put them in a can or something, throw it outside. But the thing is that just keep scaling that up.
Right.
In the sense of what
you'll
humans,
find us.
Yeah. And what humans do to each other.
I mean, okay. Even people, for all their veganism, will still wear shit that was made in China sweatshops.
And
if they shop locally, as long as it's mass produced, someone was taken advantage of and was ethically fucked. Yeah.
And they drive cars that have gas in them.
Right.
And if anybody who wants to be self-preserve the planet will have to be butt-ass naked in some jungle somewhere, living off the land. And even that, you're still killing and eating stuff to survive.
So the question is humanity fucked on either end?
I think we are. I think when that statement says, are we born evil or are we born good? No, we're just born fucked up. We'll do nice things. We'll do bad things. But overall, in general, we'll do some messed up stuff because that's who we are. All the people who cut us off on the road, all the people who steal, lie, cheat, murder, rape, all that stuff. All the bad things you see other people do, they're humans.
And even the best person in the world can be turned by the slightest thing.
That's true. No lion rapes a bear. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Humans are...
But they do kill the bear.
Well, they do. They fight. But I don't know if... there's no such thing as... maybe there is. I don't know. But, sexual molestation among birds or among anything in the animal kingdom. That's humans. That's us.
I think there's like dogs and like more of the canines to establish dominance. They'll actually get behind a dog.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen this? Yeah. They'll be like, what's up, homie? Like on some jail shit.
I'm pretty sure there are some small elements out there. But if you take the whole, spectrum of the animal kingdom and then the human kingdom, I like to separate those two.
I think the orangutans or the
they'll do some our closest
cousins. But primates in general tend to mirror our habits a lot.
It's it's just funny when I hear people talk about how upset they are when they see another human do something bad to another human, and I'm like, it's what it is. It's fucked up. That's my definition. It's fucked up. But it's a human. That's what humans are. We're all capable of doing it, whether or not we do it or not.
HOMAN, human.
Fuck. We went off, and I wanted to get back to something real quick.
Dating, Keenan. You were dating these girls.
Damn, that's normally conversations with me will have that, and I noticed that in college.
Normally conversations with us will have that. Well, in particular,
I would notice since. Maybe early as a college, I would have conversations that would talk about, the sky and the birds and stuff like that. To cows fucking it goes
to cows fucking.
It's a crazy range that I've
never seen cows fuck, but
have there? But
think of how strong those cow women are to be able to hold it down when you've got like a half ton just coming on your back.
Almost all females in the animal kingdom are the strongest to handle the huge dude doing it. It's wild.
I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about most porn stars, because have you seen like the big old buff dudes and
the big buff dudes? The one thing I don't like is the big heavy stuff. And fat guys need love too.
Yeah. I haven't seen a porn in a while, but I imagine there are all kinds of porn.
Oh my god, there's ridiculous. There's so many. There's so many that I now have categories of like cutting ones off that I don't watch.
Oh my god! Wait, let's get back. So you were dating. So you were trying to talk to these girls at the bar.
Yes. So real people, not people on TV movies.
And they were Middle Eastern,
like hot. As
they had their Marilyn Monroe on.
The same way people would talk about Kim Kardashians and stuff like that. Okay. They were that level of hot to me,
right?
But I thought they looked better than the Kardashians and stuff. They were really fine.
Were they Salma Hayek hot?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And like my height too, when she was on high heels and everything perfect, the hair, the voice.
So she was the one, basically.
Pretty much when they walked in. And here's what I did. So you guys can appreciate me doing some of the things that you tell me I should do, and I did. So I checked her out several times and made sure she noticed me checking her out.
Right.
And she walked behind me and all that stuff, which gave a clear signal, because as she walked around everywhere else in the bar just to take a look around, there were plenty of seats to sit at with her and her friend. It was just them two. But they wound up sitting right next to me in this pretty much empty place.
Okay.
So that was sign number one, which I picked up, and I thought we had something good going. So
they were probably expecting a drink at this point.
Yeah, at this point. So the next thing was when they sat next to me, they turned to each other and started talking. So I was like, okay, that's not a sign that people tell me, oh, someone's into you. Usually they have their knees towards you.
Their body language was closed.
The body language was all closed. So
that's confusing.
Exactly. But I still, this is why everybody out there will be proud of me. I still approached them.
You're like, what's up,
and
ladies?
I still talked to them.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it in a creepy way. There was menus right in front of me. So I heard them talk about trying to get a drink. So I offered them the menu. Great way to start a conversation.
Yeah, very cordial.
Which
polite.
We kind of did, but it cut off real quickly. It was more like a thank you, yes, and then whoop, turn back to each other. So I was like...
And they sat next to you in a completely empty place?
Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. So the next thing that happened was they were trying to read it. Here's my second chance to get something in. I handed them a candle, like, hey, here, take this so you can read. Oh, how nice. Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet, blah, blah, blah. And as I was going to approach another question, boom, thank you, turned away.
Damn.
I was like, shit. Okay, so as things go by, the girl next to me and the girl that I was checking out sits right next to me, not her friend.
Damn.
Sits right next to me. So they didn't want to sit in front of whatever display was in front of them. So there was a seat next to me empty. I tell them, hey, I can move over. Another conversational starter. Thanks. Oh, it was great. Let's move over. Hey, we're all happy now. Let's, start a conversation. Nope. They turn back to each other and start going into their own thing. Again, this could be the whole racial stuff. I don't know, but I'll tell you how I found out. So as time goes by, they order a drink. That was another conversation because there was fire in the drink. We talked about that and stuff like that, but only very brief. When I say talk, 2-3 sentences and they're back to their own thing.
They never engage in conversation with you outside of your effort.
Outside of my effort. I think maybe once when they're asking about this place because they were their first time there, which was my gig to get a great conversation if I could about talking about the show.
Right.
Saying I was promoting and should come back and stuff. No, we won't be back here. We're going off and doing something else. So I was like, all right. But when they ordered their second drink, the girl next to me that I was into, when she put her hands on the table, I saw the fattest fucking diamond on her ring. I was like, yeah, damn.
Are you sure it was a diamond? Because there is such a thing as something called moissanite.
Oh, something that looks like a diamond?
It's about 2 chemicals or 2 compounds removed.
Yeah.
But it's nearly identical to diamond.
This thing was shining in a dim, low-lit bar.
Yeah,
nothing hitting it.
Moissanite can do that.
Oh, okay,
unlike
cool.
cubic zirconia,
yeah.
moissanite can do that.
Well, this one, I hope so, but it had a fat-ass diamond in the
She
center.
may not even know it, actually. I used to be in fine jewelry, so I know that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that would...
But suffice it to say that it looked like some baller was like, here, baby.
It could. Who knows? More power to him to do that kind of sort of trickery, but it had diamonds on diamonds, stacks on stacks on stacks. They were like,
I don't know if I could ever, knowing what I know, I don't know if I could ever buy someone a diamond ring, but go on.
It was just a wild, when I saw that, I was like, because there's a lot of guys may ignore certain signs, stuff like that. But when I see the signs, I'm like, I can't get it. I'm not going to press on. I got to move on with my life. I can't just focus on this one person.
Sure.
So when I saw the ring,
like she's married or engaged.
She's engaged. So when the conversation I overheard, her friend was like, "Oh, congratulations! I wonder how it's going to be. Are you nervous? Are you going to be right?" I was like, "Oh, she's engaged." So
and she's newly engaged.
Newly engaged. So it was just like it was.
Her friend
crazy.
is asking her about it.
Yeah, and because she's going to get married like next week or something like that.
Wow.
So, but it was crazy. It could have, if she didn't have that ring on that finger, I would have probably tried a little bit harder.
Right.
But here's the thing. I guess I would present to everybody. You guys all know the situation, the story that I did, and here's to you is that. How hard should you keep going until you should just say, I'm going to move on to something else because this is taking away my time and my energy?
Excuse me, I didn't mean to breathe onto the
That's fine.
like
That's
that.
fine. That people know you're thinking.
I remember when I was younger reading a lot of, I've read all the pickup artist shit. I use none of it.
Yeah.
But having said that, I will say I recall something about women, and this is pretty common knowledge now. Women decide within the first 15 seconds.
What do they say about dudes for that? What do we decide in the first 15 seconds?
We decide in the first second
if we're gonna do it or not.
And they say that like a lot like how a man can see a woman like way down the street with a big old ass and be like, damn, right?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Well, we can do that and see the features and we're biologically tied to being able to see that in someone. We're attuned to that.
Yeah.
Women are attuned to a man's character almost from that distance.
So that's where we have our dualities. That's our differences.
Yeah. And so the confidence levels, things like small, especially if they're like women who are tied to brands on top of that, the first thing they're going to look for is, because remember, especially people who wear brand name things, those are signals to other people who would be able to recognize. So like
they got money.
Yeah. So I'll tell you an example. I once went out with a friend to a bar and we were hanging out. It was because it was another friend of mine. She was having like a birthday party. So I needed to take somebody with me, and my homie was the only person that I could think of at the time. Right. I know, Keenan, I should have taken you.
I'm not gonna give you,
this was right before I moved to New York.
I didn't bring you to the house yet. I bring you to the dude's house, the famous dude's house.
Okay. Yeah. So we're hanging out and I watch him do his thing. He pulls up to this girl and he's like, "Oh, is that a Michael Kors watch?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she was banging.
Yeah.
She was wearing an all white dress, very clean, right, thick, and she had all this jewelry on, and he's he's looking at her, and he dresses the same way. He's got a Gucci wallet, the whole thing. Yeah. And so, like anything else that humans do, we signal in a certain way.
Right.
And those signals are sometimes the things that people pay attention to. There are some girls and men who will stand outside by the valet to see whose cars is whose.
Oh, really?
To strike up conversations. Like, there are power plays at work here, man. That the human societal, it's very Machiavellian, man. Without them even knowing who Machiavelli is, they do that shit.
Yeah.
It's social climbers, if you will. And like attracts like in a real sense, man. Whereas you're probably more concerned with not only how fine someone is, but then after that initial fine, they have to have some sense of humor.
Yeah, it's real quick. It's real quick for me. Like once you get past the looks, it's almost instantaneous at least for me to be like, okay, who is this person really? Is it just the facade of the looks and that's all that they got going for them? Or do they have more? Can they offer more?
Right.
Because I know I get looked at as, can I offer more? Am I more just whatever they see on the surface? Am I, as just being humorous? Is that all I am, is just a humorous guy? Do I not have anything else? So I see that too. And I try to recognize that for myself, but not to get too judgmental as best I can.
Self-judgmental.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm glad that you do that, because I do that a lot too. Not anymore, I'm in a relationship, but when I was out there, like I did always keep those things in mind. But since moving back to New York, I just didn't care anymore. Because at that point I was focused on, it's not even about business, them anymore. Right? Yeah, it's just about like, who am I, where am I going, and what am I doing with my time?
Yeah, there's a famous Lil Wayne saying, which is based off another saying, but his saying was, and hopefully I get this right, is if you're getting pussy, you're not getting any money. If you're getting money, you're not getting any pussy.
Right. And then Kanye West also said something. I don't know what's better, getting laid or getting paid. I just know when I'm getting one, the other's getting away.
Right.
You know, and
does that work for females as well? Because we're saying this as men, but do they have the same sort of saying?
Some I keep breathing on the mic.
That's fine.
No, I think I don't know if it should even be applied at all, really. I don't think you should have to choose between getting laid or getting paid. But I do know that where you spend your time does ultimately define a lot of what you earn, especially if you earn by the hour.
Yes. Like myself, I am an hourly employee. I think I've always been.
It's fascinating, right? Let's say somebody makes about $25 an hour, right? Okay. And then they go to a bar and they spend 30 drinks in 10 minutes. I mean, $30
That's
on
what
drinks
I would
in 10
do.
minutes.
That's me. And then you're broke.
You threw away an hour of your life for that. But
same thing for strip clubs.
That's the price of things.
Yeah.
And as a freelancer who's sincerely considering getting a job again, I'm telling you, like when I think about it, even though I don't earn by the hour, it's crazy to me that my spending and my thinking about how I spend things hasn't changed much.
So it won't flip. So if you got a 9-to-5 hourly job, your expenditures wouldn't flip or change.
No. What I mean is, like, so after I left the work world where I was earning by the hour, my perception of how money works hadn't changed dramatically, and that's a problem.
Okay.
I think every successful business owner I ever met has an intimate understanding of their numbers. In fact, they love to talk about their numbers.
What comes in, what comes out, what goes there, what goes in.
Yeah, they go, wow. And even if it's small, they're like, wow, in a year, we sold over $10,000 worth of merchandise. And for some people, that may be a failure. That's actually a success to us because we started with $0, right? And that's why most business owners don't want to hear $1 million idea. They want to hear $1,000 idea.
Interesting. Okay.
Do you have $1,000 idea? Because if we can make 1,000, we can make 1 million.
Oh,
but if you can't even make 1,000, what are you even talking about millions for?
And does that go against the whole mentality of like, go big or go home, or think big, or always think about 10 years in the future type stuff?
Think big, but then see how it applies to the small.
Okay.
Because everything big is an amalgamation of smaller parts. You know, the sum is the parts of the sum are not greater than the whole, and the whole is not greater than its parts.
Okay.
You know, A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
You're dropping some You drop some Pythagoras theorem on me?
Yeah, dude. You know, it's all the same.
This week on None of Our Business Mathematics podcast. Most of that stuff I actually do remember. I can't recite it offhand. It's funny how all that
you're
equations,
an engineer and you're like,
yeah, all the equations. And it's funny because a lot of those equations you're not using in the business world unless you're doing some.
There's like 3 equations you actually use,
for the most part, but a lot of the stuff you can get offline. You have calculators that can do it.
It's like coding. Like people think you have to remember all the semantics. You just have to know how to read certain parts. Because most of that shit is already built out.
It rarely comes to play unless when you're doing what they call stamping drawings. When you get a professional engineer who has, and this is crazy, they have to take 2 tests. They have to take an engineering EIT tests or FE tests, which I wish I remembered the terminology for that.
You didn't take this test, did you?
No, I didn't. You can tell I failed. But the professional engineering exam. So this
was it intimidating?
There it is. So the FE and the EIT, these entry level examinations are 8 hours long.
What?
Yes, 8 hours long, and they go over like a lot of the basic equations that you have to solve over like a couple hundred questions. Like you only get 2 minutes to solve each question.
You only get 2 minutes to solve each question.
And it's an 8 hour.
And it's an 8 hour test. So there's that many questions.
Yes.
Fuck.
And the crazy thing is, so you have to know.
Are there lunch breaks?
Yeah, they're breaks. But you have to remember. What you're supposed to do is really remember what the equation is and does, and then just put in the numbers and then solve it out. But they do a lot of trickery. This is the other fucked up thing about math and physics. A lot of the teachers will put in trick questions or trick methods. It's not straight and flat. It's almost like they're trying to weed out the crowd to see who can figure shit out. And
or like they're not solvable problems.
Well, no, they're solvable problems, but you have to remember something. You have to do some crazy algebraic manipulation to get one answer, then place that answer back into the original question that was asked, and then solve that, and then use that to go back into another equation that you use just to get a simple answer that equals out to 2.
So usually, you know what I mean? Savants would be the only type of people that could actually get that going.
And that's why I say you have to do it by memory, because you can't have notes and use your notes and check that stuff out. So you have to be able
to see that, recognize it, and go, oh, okay.
And it's kind of like in the sense of like dude,
we have calculators today. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the thing is to look at those tests, like kind of like how you look at video games or even doing your video editing. If you ask me questions about how to jump and duck and shoot and fire, I would know that off the top of my head on certain video games, or even when I'm using Photoshop. So it's kind of like that. But with engineering, you know, it's a lot of stuff. God, I wish I can remember that terminology. Maybe I'll look it up just so I don't sound like don't know what I'm talking about. But the next test after that,
I'm pretty sure like 90% of our listeners aren't going to know either. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm listening.
Well, the idea is to explain how difficult and the engineering to get a professional engineering license and to put stamps on drawings.
But engineers
and to get
make
that paid,
bank, don't they?
Only if you get up to that degree or that level.
Then you can charge like what, $100, $170 an hour,
$5,000 every stamp you put or something like that. It's pretty wild.
So it's almost like a notary public where you get a stamp.
Exactly.
Damn. So, except notary publics are nowhere near.
But the idea is that if you stamp off on a drawing, that nobody's gonna like die from it. Now you need those engineers. They're usually meant for bridges, buildings, stuff like that, cars, shit. Not. Even though there's accidents happening all the time. I mean, we had a space shuttle that blew up.
Right.
So the idea is that the difficulty of engineers to be a professional engineer and call yourself an engineer and be claimed as one is an 8-hour examination with tons of questions. And then after that, you have to take another test called the PE test, the professional engineering test, where you have to get recommended by 4 different people, work in the industry under your profession for like 2-3 years. And then once you get all that, then you take a 2-day exam going over all that shit, solving problems and equations and stuff like that. And thankfully, I think you only have to do is take it once and you're set for life. But you can lose your license if you stamp off on a drawing and like somebody dies from it.
Like that rocket.
That's why they're so strict and crazy. Well, the rocket thing for NASA, they probably have that. I have a weird thing about NASA where a lot of and this is a crazy topic I would love to get into. But I don't know if we can do it now, but it's about suppressive technology and how NASA doesn't release a lot of information that they have. They'll hold it in and they'll tell us later. Like you'll find out about fucking Velcro 50 years after it was already made, in that system.
Right.
And they're very strict on who gets in, and it's like a very elite boys club,
Dude.
Hence Hidden Figures and all that shit. And it was crazy how they are really strict on who gets in by their intelligence, yet they'll still make a mistake and get somebody killed and get something blown up. And it's like, well, I thought you got the geniuses and the smartest people possible. If that's true, how did this happen?
I mean, we're dealing with humans, right? So
yeah, but if I just don't like people who are so anal about who gets in.
Selective.
Yeah.
I mean, people think Freemasonry is like that.
And
while there are a lot of good dudes in there, I have met some that I was like, and it's against policy to really speak ill of others. I get it. Just in general, human decency, you don't want to talk bad about people, but you're right.
Exactly.
What's with the selective boys clubs when they're clearly not that selective?
No.
And what makes it even worse for me is that I was looking on LinkedIn and there was an internship for NASA here in Pasadena.
They're opening up to people.
Right. But when I look at it, like, I don't understand why internships require that.
You need an 8.0 GPA and all that shit?
Or that you're attending a college, because some people can't afford college.
Right.
But I bet you if you gave them an opportunity, they would show up, especially if they're like, not just anybody says, I want an internship at NASA.
Yeah.
Bro, someone has to have at least some inclination towards science to be like, you know what, I'd like to check that out.
Well, I'm a pretty jaded person because I applied to the Department of Defense, CIA, FBI, NSA, NASA, SpaceX, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon. I applied,
and you've had amazing projects in your history. You know what I mean?
I've had the resume show that I've worked at places, and I know the knowledge of my skills. But yeah, it was. You have to do more than just networking too. It feels like there's more involvement, knowing people.
You definitely have to know people, man. When I think about, okay, so there's a book called The Square and Tower, written by Niall Ferguson. The last book he wrote prior to that was called The Ascent of Money, where he traces back the history of like banking in general. He traces all back to the Rothschilds, whatever.
Yeah, no,
right.
We can talk about that too. The First World Bank and all that stuff, the U.S.
Right.
It's a crazy history.
How fortuitous it was that the Rothschilds happen to know exactly when to sell, when to buy, all that shit.
And they're still top of the game. I mean, I don't think people know how much money they really have. I
don't think they know how much money they really have. You know what I mean?
You have Jeff Bezos, who's like 173 billion
compared to
the Rothschilds. No fucking, that's
Jeff Bezos is broke.
Yes.
If the Rothschilds woke up with Jeff Bezos' money,
they fucking slit their throat.
Right. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand, is it's generational wealth.
Yeah, that's true.
Thomas Piketty wrote a book. He's an economist. He wrote a book called forget it. Anyways, the name of the book doesn't matter. But Thomas Piketty wrote a book where he shares one formula, right? He shares one mathematical formula that then is filled with nothing but evidence supporting that formula, and the book is as thick as fucking
math.
Yeah, it's as thick as a dictionary.
Math can be pretty fun if you really get into it and understand that it's really just adding, subtracting, and that's it. You don't even have to go to multiplying and dividing. Multiplying and dividing is adding and subtracting. But people get this notion. I remember having a conversation where they were talking about how hard math was, and I was like, but programming, all this. I didn't say it. This was in my head. I couldn't retort back because I was thinking angrily how they were saying, oh, math is so difficult, so hard, it has so much trouble. It's like, no, it's only difficult because you made it difficult. Yes, the equations are kind of crazy, but if you took the time to understand the stuff like you do when you play a game or when you watch a movie or something like that,
there's rules.
You'll understand that it's really boils down to adding and subtracting.
I don't know, man. I suck at long division, so...
which is multiple levels of subtracting. That's pretty much it.
That's true.
And you can do long division several ways to make it look. I think the way it's looked and presented discourages a lot of people. You see this alien language, all that,
right?
Which is kind of cool when you do know it, because it's like, yeah, it's kind of another language.
Right.
I know this shit.
Right. Well, is trigonometry similar to that? It's still subtracting and adding?
Yeah. Trigonometry, geometry, it's all you're adding angles and degrees, you're subtracting angles and degrees, right. You're adding shapes and sizes and stuff like that. That's all
providing proofs.
Yeah. Providing proofs is just explaining why the numbers that you added and subtracted work out that way. Because that's like throwing out a fact and not fact checking it.
Right. So that's why geometry is important.
Yes. And geometry, I say people should start with geometry and trig so they can understand how fun it is and then go into algebra. But
and then for some reason in high school you're taught algebra first.
And you technically you kind of need it.
Fail, dude.
In a way, I think calculus is designed for people to fail, especially I don't know who the teacher was. I wish I remember the right teacher that did it, but if you explain calculus in the right way, people be like, "Oh, I get it." I had to take calculus 1 twice because the first teacher was not explaining it right.
And calculus has been responsible for the biggest developments in our society today, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Like cell phone technology was developed through calculus, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Leading up to, well, I mean, some other electronic Ohm's law and stuff like that, and what's the transistors and whatnot, which formed from, I would say, not calculus. What's it called? Another type of mathematics. I forgot what it's called.
Coming back though, so Thomas Piketty, this formula, which basically says you can never earn enough money. You can never be paid enough by the hour or charge a client enough, however you earn your salary, to out earn the GDP of an economy. And the only way to truly establish wealth in any nation, other than slaughtering and being like one of those fucking underground black family, like black underground, not black, like American black.
We are a friend of the.
We're a friend of the black community. You know what I mean? Like dark web type shit, whatever. Unless you're doing some crazy, unless you're doing some gangster shit, the only way to really establish wealth is generational wealth. And so that means that like, no matter how hard I work and how much success I achieve, it's not going to be until my grandson.
You got to buy that house. You got to buy that property. You got to own that business. You got to own stuff that can generate money.
And that's why family values are so important. Look at the wealthiest people in the world are families. It's a family values
old
thing.
Money. Yeah. You'll get lucky. Maybe you might strike it rich with like the new money type stuff.
That's why a lot of football players, like, they end up broke and penniless. Yeah, because not only do they not have proper value set in place where like they'll go out and buy 6 cars, whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah. Even Tyson said that shit. His documentary was wild.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Do you think, honestly, you would fall into the same problems you had before if $1 million slapped in your pocket? You think you'd be not broke, but you think you have like $1,000 left after a day?
I'll tell you right now.
You got things to pay for.
If I came into $1 million right now, just 1 million. Yeah. I know too many smart people are in my corner. They might ask me for a lot of money. Yeah. But if I think about the odds, I mean the pros and the cons, I say, look, man, I want to pay you some good money, but I'm going to need to borrow your brain to help me manage this properly into a portfolio that can create and generate dividends.
If that worked out, so that's more like a So you don't think you would drop out on a Tesla car?
I don't think the United States would ever want me to get rich because I would make sure I never got poor again.
Well, you're also a minority too. You're dark skinned. So am I. I mean, they try to hold us down quite heavily, but I think, I don't know. I would try really hard not to spend my money, but knowing that already I have a huge college student loan debt, my million
paying it all off at once isn't a good idea.
No, I know it's not. I heard that. So that's advice for you out there. Do not pay everything all at once. If you want to build up your credit, pay it in steps.
Because you want to see good payment history.
That's right. Yeah.
Truth be told, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I've come to a point in my life where I've owned pretty much everything I want to own except for a condo. I haven't dreamed of a yacht or anything like that. No, I want a condo. I want to flip condos, right? So get a condo, flip it. I don't know why I don't want a house. When I've had the opportunity of living in someone's house and seeing their big ass house, and it's great. But then I've also seen like the air conditioning bills.
Oh, what about my
bro? It was like a $3,000 air conditioning
for those expensive stuff. But yeah, what about like?
I don't care if I have a lot of money. How do you justify that?
I don't know how people can afford $5,000 apartment. $5,000 a month. Are you serious?
If you're paying for a luxury apartment,
yeah,
you might as well get a fucking condo. Don't be a dumb. And it's usually the young people today that
get the apartments. Yeah,
they'll pay like $4,000 or $5,000 for a luxury 1 bedroom.
Yeah, it's like what job?
Because it comes with a gym downstairs. Go get a fucking $200 gym membership somewhere else.
Yeah, or $30
Equinox.
a month. Yeah.
In fact, it would actually be a business investment if you went and got one of those corporate Equinox gym memberships, or like the ones where you have to pay $500 a month.
Yeah,
because of the people there. I was just talking to Rachel about this the other day. She was like, "Equinox is a scam," and I said,
"Oh, she said that, or you said that?"
Yeah, no, she said that.
And really?
I said, "Well, I can see why you say that because they're charging a lot of money."
Yeah.
If you think about it, though, things are designed to keep certain people out.
Yeah, us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Equinox price point and businesses have always been designed to discriminate against people who can't afford that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are some people who are equally as talented as another. One business is equally as talented as another business, but it's their pricing that separates the type of clients they get. It took me to basically drive my business into failure for me to realize that my low prices weren't just earning me goodwill. They were also earning me bad clients. People who were like, cool. Like, if you keep giving out free advice, if you keep giving out your cookies, why would somebody ever fucking pay for them?
Yeah, that's true. I'm starting to make sure I charge people for the services that I provide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's, especially if you're good at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good at what you do and you can guarantee shows and shit like that.
Yeah. Who determines how good someone is? It's usually the people around you, right?
You should be getting paid 15 to 20% of whatever's being made.
Yeah.
Because 15 to 20% is standard industry, anything in general.
Anything? Okay.
Yeah. Booking agents, shit like that. Like, I was reaching out to Sharon Jackson, who is Aziz Ansari's booking agent.
Oh, cool.
For something related to like a Mike Posner thing that I'm trying to get to happen. Anybody out there knows how I can get a hold of Aziz Ansari, let me know.
Go to his show. He was at the Improv, and sometimes they stay
how long
later. 2 weeks. When I took Joe, when he was talking about the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, because I'm reaching out to his team. Anyways, but what I'm realizing is, like, if I were to have tried to get directly to see Aziz Ansari, even if I actually spoke to him and he agreed, it would look really bad on the booking agent's behalf. And so you want to keep other people in mind, because those are the people. They don't just represent one person.
Right.
You know, they represent a shitload of people. That's why they have assistants.
Yeah.
And assistants.
I mean, technically, I represent a ton of people, not just Collabo, but people outside of Collabo.
So if somebody pisses you off,
yeah,
the chances of them ever hanging out with any of us, if you're the only person that knows them,
right,
it's slim to none.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So don't be a fucking dick. And yes,
especially the Keenan, he takes it personally.
Equinox and other things like Equinox are designed to keep certain people out. Do you know? Do you have any other examples of other places that are really expensive, designed to keep certain people out?
Anything in Beverly Hills, Pacific Palisades, Santa Monica. The neighborhood themselves.
Whole Foods
too, or what's that other one?
Isn't priced as Home Goods?
Well, that's another like expensive. It's like an expensive Ross.
Really?
Like a really expensive Home Goods, an expensive Ross, or what's that other one?
The World Market, the one that's over on.
You said Whole Foods, right?
Whole Foods, yeah. Whole Foods used to be priced that way.
Yeah,
and I think Jeff Bezos is trying to get it back there.
That's the one with the water, right? With the water with the. Asparagus in it for that was like $10 for asparagus and water.
Oh yeah.
It was on the Daily Show. They did a whole thing about it.
They even sell like dirt, like
they do?
carrots with dirt on it, so you know it's organic. You know what I mean? Like,
they just threw some fucking dirt on the street.
How organic does that shit have to be, bro? If you're not growing it yourself, you're wasting your fucking time.
Exactly. Anybody who's doing all that stuff organic thing, just grow it yourself.
Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
You have no idea. Some people told me, like, I go to the farm and I check it out and something like that. But I'm like, as soon as you leave, they're going back to pissing on everything. You don't know. Unless you're there 24/7, unless you're doing it yourself, you have no idea where the product comes from.
The only thing all natural organic is if you grow it your fucking self.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. Okay. Most co-working spaces, like the one that we're speaking at today, are priced
nice.
Are priced place. Like, you're not just going to see anybody here.
Well, I mean, it's empty.
It's a Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, for a place like this, I would think people would be here on a Sunday. This looks like a place where people, like, real entrepreneurs be like, "Fuck it, I'm coming in."
Oh yeah,
on Sunday.
Upstairs has a bunch of offices, but they're like Monday through Friday. They're here till like midnight. Bro.
So is this full? Is this place full of people? And are they predominantly white?
No.
This is Pasadena.
Actually, no. Fortunately, I haven't seen many Latino people who aren't employees who are cleaning, but that tends to be a trend in Los Angeles in general.
Yeah. But it's okay. What is the price? Can you tell the pricing of what you're doing just to get access to this place?
For me, yeah. A part-time membership is $200 a month.
Damn. I mean, like, why can't there just be one that's like $30 a month and it's just empty? You bring your own shit in.
Well, if you want to pay, and here's another. If you want to pay $45 a month, you get 4 visits to a space like this, or any space in general. You get 4 visits to any space a month with Desk Pass.
Yeah, but that, like, what if I want to do it like on a daily basis? Well, that's what I'm saying. That's when.
And you say it's a lot, right? But then let's say you go to a coffee shop.
And how much I spend? That's $200
every day.
I spent $200 yesterday. That's some stupid shit.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of shit isn't necessarily out of reach. It's just what you spend your money on.
That is 100% true. That is 100%. All those times I go to the bars, the clubs, all that stuff.
Dude.
Every time I get something, I think.
I buy a yerba mate at least 3 to 2 times a day.
You have one right now.
Right. I was doing the math. If I just bought 3 every day, at the end of the year, I will have spent $3,000 on yerba mate.
I found out that I spent $900 a month solely on food. $900 a month on food.
Did you want to punch a window after that?
I did. I was doing a budget. It's the only time I get some like mother and son time. So me and my mom went through my budget, and that's one way we connect and bond.
That's fucking awesome.
When we were going over our budget, we found out, because I have to be honest, how much I spend on food, and
was it an awkward situation?
Yeah, it came out to like, when it kept adding up, and then it came out to $900. I was like,
see, that's how you should start your conversations with women. You should be like, I have a $900 a month budget on food. Girls would be like, what? You balling.
But you can't get fat. Oh, no. That's bad. I can't say that. That's bad. I'm kidding,
what if they fall into depression and put on some weight, man?
Well, I see that. Didn't we have a conversation about that with Sheila, saying that if that happens, we talk about it and they keep going their ways, I can get out of the relationship? It's one of the things I was very hesitant to speak on that episode, because if I felt like that, I felt like I would be chastised as a bad dude or evil dude or a person who doesn't respect women who are overweight or not even overweight or just big.
I've never seen you be even remotely disrespectful to women.
You may not see
with like maliciousness.
Yeah, but
you might make jokes, but they're like,
even the jokes. I've been around people where I would say something about someone who is a bigger weight size than I am, and they would look at me like, "How dare you shame that person?" Like, how dare you?
They're just projecting their fears, man.
But I get that a lot. It's so far since that episode, only you, Joe, and Sheila were the only ones that would respect the fact that if I said, "Oh, I don't like her because she has a mole on her cheek," you kind of be okay with that. But most people be like, "Why you can't say that? You can't do that."
People
are
on their fucking high horse. People do that all the time, man. The number of people that I've seen, like, okay, I've often found myself the company of people who are, for all intents and purposes, awesome, but then someone will cut them off on the road, and they're gonna be like, "It's probably a fucking black person." And in my head, I'm like,
or they'll say something like, yeah. And what?
I am the whole rest of the ride. I'm thinking, I'm never gonna hang out with you again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is that
how do you even know it was a car driving by? What the
just some dark figure? How did you know?
It's bullshit, man. But everybody's on their high horse acting like they don't do that.
And I try not to take it personally when I hear that, but I definitely do hear it, and I kind of readjust myself and go, maybe I should talk to them, even though they have a mole in their face. Maybe I should talk to them because the rest of the body looks high. It's not fair. Then they'll say, "Well, Keenan, what if you had a mole in your face? How would you like it?" And it's like, that's how I got when we had that conversation with Sheila, for me to say the things I wanted in a female, because if I list those things, I can guarantee everyone that whatever I list, people be like, that you can't, that's not fair for you to say that.
Right.
Even though we're talking about my idealistic person, I've been around a lot of people who would criticize and judge my interests. And that includes on women too. That's why it comes out as a joke, because I would say it as a joke, but I might be really serious about it. But they
I remember you telling me something about how like you would thought to yourself, okay, I have these expectations of women, and so then I took a look at myself, and it's like, well, what do I bring to the table, right? And but you're fair in that respect.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, they know the power of accountability, and so they usually join groups of people who hold them to what they said they were like. So they go, "At last week, you said you were going to build this,
right?
Why didn't you build it?" And they're like, "I know." And when I first got thrown into one of those groups, I haven't been thrown into one since. I just stopped going because I was ashamed of the fact that I just wasn't keeping up to my promises.
Okay,
right? But that's because I failed to understand the value of it. Then you look at entrepreneurs who are like, they want to get their life and they want to get their life together and they want to get in shape. So they take 100 of those $900 they spend on food a month, and they get a personal trainer for $100 a month, and that personal trainer holds them accountable to a certain level of fitness. And they're sitting there and they're like, "Come on, man!" And sometimes, especially as humans, we need that accountability partner to help us stay on track. But it can't just be anybody. It has to be somebody qualified and somebody who can equally be held accountable.
Yeah,
you know, if your personal trainer isn't in shape, you chose the wrong personal trainer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are some hefty. Oh, there's a few hefty personal trainers I've seen at least at LA Fitness that I've been at.
LA Fitness.
But oh shit, damn, shit on LA Fitness. It's a nice spot. A lot of good looking people go through there. It's a very motivational. Be like, oh man, I want to work out too. I want to look like you. I want to talk to you.
Have you ever taken up Equinox on any of their free days?
No, I haven't. Something about Equinox. I just don't feel like going in there. Not as a racial thing or anything like that. I just don't have a strong interest.
I remember how they sold me.
Oh, really?
I walked in because when I was living in the Valley, I was like, I just want to go to a nice gym that has like an area I could work out of.
Yeah.
And they had like a little lounge. I was like, cool, because I didn't want to pay for a whole co-working space at the time.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any in the Valley. Like Porter Ranch, there was nothing out there.
There's no co-working space. I'm trying to find one. A legit one.
Which is ridiculous because it would seem
so
like
much space.
Yeah, there's so much space.
It's just not a happening thing. I think NoHo is the closest.
There's actually one by your area though. Like by
really
not too far from us. I was gonna join it. It's 24-hour access. It's also like in part of a bunch of warehouses. Space. Yeah, I'll see if I can look it up.
I have to look into it.
And they do have like warehousing space and shit like that.
I just need vroom, vroom, vroom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what my tools sound like.
Your tool sounds firm.
Oh, what?
It doesn't sound flaccid at all.
It sounds like isn't that funny? That's what the sound of my tool makes when I actually use it. Like, what the fuck?
I would stop pushing it if it made that sound.
I
know. I need a manlier sounding tool. So I'm like,
I know this is a no, but do you make those sounds when you're like fingering somebody?
I can't. He said, the maturity of this episode is dropped.
It just went down.
It's like if the stock market had suddenly ceased to exist.
I felt like it needed. We were talking too much real shit. At least for me, we need to throw in some dirty Keenan in there.
Oh,
some nastiness, some crazy.
So I'm seeing a bunch of like Coachella posts, etc., from people on their like Coachella Live,
yay,
and girls that are free the nipple and everything on Instagram. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is something that people do regularly. And then I remember seeing something that Gary Vee had said, where he said, if you've been to Coachella, you have no right to complain. Like your life is not that bad.
No, yeah. Unless you suck dick for money to get your ticket,
Even if you did that, you have no right to complain. You're the one who decided to suck dick. No.
Damn. Philly's offering.
Fuck you. I'll buy tickets. No, I can't say that. No,
yeah.
Because I was looking at my clothes the other day. Because
some nice clothes you got on.
Because I'm a little down on I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to change what I could keep going this route. But it's not the easiest fucking path to walk as a freelancer.
Well, why do you need new clothes?
No. What I'm saying is that I'm thinking, moving back into the workworkforce for a while.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Right. And I was looking at my clothes and I was like, but I can't say that I've failed. Because when I look at the shit that I own, I have a car of a year,
place to stay.
Place to stay. I've got nice clothes. Why do you think, How often do you actually think about the things you own and go, wow, I should be grateful?
I do. All the time. Like I said, I always look at, and my whole life is a big duality kind of thing. I always look at other people and I look at myself. I look internally. The clothes I have on now that I pay for, I got these at Ross, actually.
Ross is dope, dude.
It's dope. And people want me to dress nicer, which I should. But if I'm going to, I don't really want to drop. I was recommended to spend $500 on clothing. I was like, $500 on clothing? Why would I drop if I really needed some new program, a new software to do my work or some new tools, because I'm building stuff. My clothes, I don't know.
Could you afford $50 a month?
Oh, I actually want to try that service.
The 5-4 Club or Trendy Butler or something like that?
Yeah, the one where they give you a packet or a case of fine clothes. I really want to. I'm gonna look into that. I really want to do that.
If you can afford, if it's within your wallet to do so, if you can take away $100 of that food and put it towards
exactly, because they provide the clothes, they provide the shoes. There's
a stylist. Every now and then they'll send you a pair of shoes.
Yeah. I saw the commercial. I was like, this is awesome. What I wanted, totally down for that.
I mean, that's just the world we live in today now, man.
Yeah.
He said, put it on the to-do list.
I'm being a real asshole, ladies and gentlemen.
Kidding is texting while
podcasting. But
that's almost as bad as texting and driving.
Here's the reason why I'm an asshole. Is that, or I think I could be considered one.
Is that the reason why you want to start earlier today?
Exactly, because I'm going to a Game of Thrones party at
I like how you didn't tell me why we had to start early until we met up.
I thought I did.
You were like, hey, we're going to have to start early.
I asked because I said I have an event to go to. I didn't want to say the event because I knew you'd be like, well, fuck you, Kenan, and your Game of Thrones bullshit.
No,
I'm not in the Game of Thrones at all, but I like the environment. And I did tell them.
And it's a mansion party.
It is. And I did tell them that you were my other two guests, but I just.
Oh, I see how it is.
I just don't know if you and your girl could come to this place at a moment's notice, because I just informed my cousin and her friend like a day ago or 2 days ago.
Right.
So and there's drinking and stuff involved. So the thing is,
and you know how much I don't like being around drunk people.
And the crazy thing is, but for me, I want to bring you into these groups, and even the people that I know.
In Malibu though?
No, this is all the way out in like Hacienda Heights.
Is that towards the valley? What direction?
Towards
is that?
Chino. I'm pronouncing it wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's far out there. It's
that's why you wanted to end early, huh?
Exactly. I got to get to Hacienda Heights in in another hour or so.
Well, in the next episode, you're gonna have to report back how amazing
I'll take photos and pictures and all that stuff, video and everything. See, the thing is that the things I go to, yes, there's drinking, people smoking, but there's business people there. There's entrepreneurs there. There's people who are doing things and working on things.
Really?
There's celebrities and stuff like that. That's why I try to.
So it might make sense for me to attend.
You to go, but the thing is that the reason why we're there is what you're not into, but the reason why I want you there is what you're into. It's kind of hard. I got to somehow cut away your mentality of thinking, oh, it's a party where people are drinking, smoking, and doing all this other stuff, to this is where I'm going to meet the CEO of like CBS or something like that, or fucking Jeff Bezos in the corner smoking
You're
crack.
right, because celebrities go to parties all the time.
Yes.
and they're
business
there.
people go to parties. They host their own stuff. So the next one that happens, I'll let you know in advance, but you have to say yes.
Okay.
Just so I can bring you into these people and get to know. But I'm looking at my phone because my cousin and her roommate, I'm taking them with me.
Oh,
to that. And
so you have to drive all the way down there and then drive all the way back.
And they're like, Kenan, where are you? Kenan, what's going on? Where are you then?
Did you tell them you're hanging out with Philly and for them to calm down?
Shut the fuck up. They don't listen to this. They say I'm too, they can't handle, especially my cousin can't handle me talking about my dick on this podcast. So, she can't really,
That's her reason but has she listened to it at all?
Nope.
She just assumed you were talking about your dick?
I mostly do, but there are a lot of episodes where we don't. See, the thing is that it's kind of
like... Come on, Veronica. What the fuck?
We're calling you out by name, Vivi.
Only because she's cool.
Yeah, she's super awesome. We even tried to start a whole business together, but
that was cool.
They're asking where am I, and she's still in. So 3:00 is almost 3:00 right now.
Okay.
How long have we been podcasting?
This is going to be a short one. That's for sure.
Oh, it's super short. No. See, I didn't get here exactly at 1. If I got here exactly at 1, it would have been 2 hours straight. But I got here at what, 1:30?
Something like that. So let's just say it's your fault and then move on to soapbox talks.
I was hoping to do, is there some other sounds that I can do that you can probably riff off of?
You can always do that. No. You might want to just do the yeah.
Well, I tried to do the hum. Boom, 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 boom.
How many people really want to move? How many people really want to groove? How many people really want to improve the game to maintain the status quo? We bring it back. I can't rap and beatbox at the same time.
Yeah, but I figured I can put in other.
Tell me that would have been sick though.
Oh, we got to get you and another dude named Sage, Saeg.
That's right.
To do some stuff with you and Marcus Aurelius. I think that would be the biggest. You'll be doing Coachella next year if the three of you can
That's
hook up.
right. Shout out to Marcus Aurelius.
For sure. They did a freestyle on Instagram. It was awesome. So, Soapbox Talk. Like I said, I'm a walking soapbox. We've been talking so much.
That's not what you said when we first started. You said, Billy, I complain about shit all day long.
Well, that's for topics to talk on the podcast. Which I do. If you know me and you hang out with me, Keenan complains or talks about this, and this.
Man.
But on the subject of this Game of Thrones, my soapbox talk is kind of a throwback to something else. It was about adventure and going out, and also about being invited to stuff. People go out and do shit. If somebody invites you to something, don't be like, I'm going to stay home, or come up with an excuse and not go out and see the world or see the environment. You'll talk about traveling to Europe and bullshit, but you won't travel around in your own city to see what your own city has to offer. I'm involved with a lot of other stuff with the music and shows and movies and stuff like that. And I'm also at fault where someone invited me, hey, let's go to Vegas this weekend, like in 2 days. I'm like, shit, I want to so bad, but I bailed out and I feel bad about it because who knows what I would have seen, experienced in this 1 day trip to Vegas. Same thing with anything in LA. If you're shitting on LA, you're crapping on LA for whatever, it's like LA is a big ass city. There's so much to do and see. I would think you're more of a dick for not going out to pretty much as much as possible than to just pick one certain thing to hang out at, like some barbecue. It's like if a friend's like, hey, we're going to the movies, or just randomly text some people and say, hey, what are you up to tonight? And then I was doing one thing on my own and realized I had a birthday party my ass should have went to and went out to that. And I wound up doing like a bar hopping thing. It turned into an adventure. The always a good time with Keenan Duncan is because I take the chance to just experience one thing and it may lead to another. Right. You don't have to do it and stick to it, but you never know. And that's my soapbox, that you never know. This is not just me saying if I invite you, you have to come out. It's more like just to go out and do something. It doesn't have to be me. It can be a friend, a family, walk down the street to the coffee shop, something. Go out. We have an ocean here. We have lakes. We have mountains to climb. We have tons of shows and movies, and there's so much stuff to do. Go out and fucking do something, because if I hear you talk about any boredom or how you don't like the city or any other bullshit, I will just keep it you'll just see the expression on my face of like what I think about you, because you can be doing a whole lot more. And for some reason you're holding yourself back on an experience of life with stories. Have an Instagram life without posting on Instagram. That's what I'm saying. That's my soapbox. Boots and cats.
Right. Dope. My soapbox will piggyback sort of related to that, where I think as an adult, it does get increasingly more challenging to make new friends. Certainly for a lot of people who are in school, who didn't go to college, let's say, it's even more difficult to expand your network. We currently live in an economy where network is the reality and not so much hierarchy. Imperialism exists everywhere, but for all intents and purposes, for the average layman, a network is important. And if you're not making the effort to make new friends in any way, take a class, join a co-working space, take up your friend on that invite to the party that you've never been to, you don't know anyone there, and they're going to be the only person there. Don't worry about it. Learn how to make friends as an adult, because it's like pursuing a dream. Let's say you said to yourself you wanted to be a famous musician at the age of 16, 14, and that's the decision you made. Or that you decided at 18 this was going to be your college major and that was going to be your career. You go into your 30s and you're still pursuing that. When was the last time you checked in with yourself on whether or not that's still what you wanted? Because it is very possible that you've been pursuing a goal that your 16-year-old self set, that your 18-year-old self set. And that goal may not be what you want anymore, and that could be the source of your unhappiness. Don't allow your 14, 16-year-old self or 18-year-old self to direct your life as a 30-year-old. Now, if you want to trace it back to like your dream you had when you were 3 years old, I respect that more than you would your 16-year-old self. For example, when I was 16, I wanted to be famous. But when I was 3, I wanted to be the president of the United States. Those are two very different things. So that's my soapbox.
Hey, cats. Oh, wait, go. I was going to. Oh, no, that's not right. That's bad. That's so bad. Wait, boots, what is it? It was Boots and Cats, right? Boots.
It's Boots, Cats. Yeah. Come on, Keenan. You got. There's a degree of taking yourself seriously when you do that.
I think I'm just getting the silly thing in my mind.
Well, because you got to imagine yourself making the dopest beat while doing it. Just picture your favorite drummer and the drums.
I'm just coming up with different stuff.
I'm pretty sure I've never heard a drum go boom boom boom.
Eat your woman out, suck your man's dick.